So I've got some pretty cool news. I don't know if you know this. There's a YouTube channel called Star Wars Comics that exists on YouTube. And
YouTube channel on YouTube. Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Get off my ass, would you? He's a YouTuber on YouTube. The whole thing about his channel is that he somehow gets really high definition images of new comics that come out relating to Star Wars. He puts music to them that exists in the Star Wars universe one way or another. So like it's music from Knights of the Old Republic or like The Force Unleashed. None of the music he puts on there is like non-John Williams-y sounding music. Like it all sounds like Star Wars. Yeah. And it makes for a really fun experience because you don't have to buy the comic, which I don't know how that's legal. Let me know because I'm a little curious about that.
Disney, if you're listening, please don't shut this guy down.
Yeah, it really is kind of... It is super fun to watch these videos. And the stories are cool because there are some comic book stories that really kick some ass. So I messaged this guy on Facebook. It said, hey, we're a YouTube channel with like tens of viewers. Would you mind if we use some of the images that you've produced for your channel to retell some comic book stories? And surprisingly, he got back to me in like 20 seconds and was like, absolutely, as long as you're not being a dick about it. And so we talked a little bit. Just want to give him a quick shout out. We're going to put his logo up too when we use some of his stuff. But we appreciate how gracious he is, and it's awesome because I don't have to go and pull these images somewhere else.
Yeah, Star Wars comics guy. You're awesome.
So in addition to liking our video and subscribing, you should also head over to his channel and subscribe to him. I know that he does a lot of thankless work, and it really is kind of every Star Wars fan's dream to be able to just go and watch these comics. So the one I'm going to tell you about today is a part of a comic series called the Age of comic series. So,
Age of blank.
Yeah, right. So there are 3 eras. There's the Age of Resistance, which is like the current trilogy they're working on. Mm-hmm. The Age of Rebellion, which would be like the old school original trilogy, and the Age of Republic, I think, which would be like the prequel. So it's a good way to kind of split up the Star Wars timeline into like 3 big things. So this one's from the Age of Resistance. And the whole idea is that these are all one-shot comics, so there's one issue, and the issue centers around a big character in that age. And this one's about General Hux.
Oh, Kylo Ren's boyfriend.
Perhaps. He's at the very least the like favorite ginger demon general in the new Star Wars trilogy.
He doesn't have very much competition there.
That's fair. It's played by what is that guy's name? Domhnall Gleeson. He's a really fabulous actor. The comic was called Marooned. So this thing opens up with Hux being abused by his father.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah, it is really dark. He isn't necessarily like hitting him. Like it's clear that he doesn't have any physical affection for him, but he's like really like verbally abusing him. Mm-hmm. He's like, you're a piece of shit. You have red hair. I don't even know how that happened.
Everyone knows gingers don't have souls.
Yeah, and he's just telling him you're not going to amount to anything. And he's doing this in front of like another officer who's like, yeah, you're not going to amount to anything. Because everyone loves Hux's dad. He's like a big First Order presence. Okay. Probably a general himself. I can't remember. Yeah. And Hux, little baby Hux, well, I guess little teenager Hux, his first name's Armitage.
That's quite a name.
Yeah, it's clear that his dad hated him, like from like the first second. So he's like, you can just kind of like see him like skulking by himself, like, I'll show you one day. We kind of like go forward in time to like present day Hux, who's on a shuttle with Kylo Ren, and they're off to a love mission, apparently, according to you. Yeah. They're off to some kind of mission, probably to like go murder things.
Yeah, probably. That's what they do.
Yeah. So something goes wrong in the ship, and like a part of it blows up.
Huh, that's unpleasant.
Yeah, it is. And they have to crash land on a planet.
One might even say they're marooned there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're marooned on a planet. They figure out pretty quickly, Kylo's like, I think this might have been sabotaged. And Hux is like, I think this might have been sabotaged. Because they can't agree with each other. Yeah. Because they really, really hate each other. Yeah. So they kind of like figure out that it's been sabotaged, but it had to be by someone in the First Order. because it's the only people that had access to the shuttle.
The plot thickens.
Exactly. So they don't have a lot of time to talk about it because these like monsters jump out of the bush and start chasing them. And actually, now that you've mentioned this love theory, there is a part of like one of the frames. Kylo's like, "Quick, get behind me," and he's like going to go protect like General Hux. But I think it's just to show him that he's a badass.
I also want to mention that this isn't a serious theory of mine. It's more of a joke, but go on.
Oh, we should think of a ship hashtag for this.
Huxlo Ren. Kylo Hux.
Hashtag Huxlo Ren.
Huxlo Ren. There we go.
It sounds like something I'd get from the Chinese place down the street too.
Perfect.
Yeah, put that on Twitter, you guys. So they're attacked by monsters. Kylo is able to like kill one of them, but then is like knocked out by the next one. So Hux is like, this would be a shit way to die, is by these like crazy monsters. I don't know where this guy jumps from out of the bush as well and calls them off like they're his pets.
Huh.
Now this guy is old. He's got a big gray beard. And do you remember in Star Wars A New Hope, right before Vader marches on this ship to like kill everybody, you have all these guys lining up with their little pew pew guns.
Yeah.
They've got like the white helmets and everything. He's like wearing that outfit.
Oh, so he's a survivor from the Tantive 4 or whatever the fuck it was?
Not necessarily, not from the Tantive 4, but so Hux is like, you are an Alderaanian palace guard. Or you were.
Yeah.
Because Alderaan doesn't exist anymore. Good job, by the way.
Yeah,
Alderaan.
way to guard that palace.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm from Alderaan.
You want to fight about it?
Yeah. Hux is like, well, don't kill me because I have a son of an Alderaanian right here who's passed the fuck out on the ground.
Huh. That's quite the loophole to reach for.
Yeah, I mean, just before this, he was telling Kylo how weak he was because his parents were like these big resistance names. And like the guy walks over and like looks at him, he's like, that's Leia Organa's son. Like he just kind of knows, and so he's like, well, I guess you're not so bad because you're with this guy. And I bet he's a bunch like his parents. And Hux is like, yeah, he really fucking is. So they kind of talk, and Hux is being like uncharacteristically kind to this guy. Like they're talking about stuff, and the guy tells him, I wasn't on world when Alderaan was blown up.
Obviously.
Yeah. And so that happened, and I was like, fuck y'all. And he just like drove off into the sunset and was like, no more drama. I'm going to go find a planet to live on and train some monsters and everything will be fine.
Yeah, it was his retirement plan all along.
Right. And Hux was like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but the Empire doesn't exist anymore. Like they got fucked up and there's a new Empire now and it's called the First Order. And he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So you mentioned you drove here? And
flew here?
Yeah, flew here, yeah. Drove off into,
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh yeah, I have a ship. It's got a radio on it. We can go like contact your people. And Hux is like, that's great. That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they like walk a little bit. I can't remember if they carry Kylo or just like leave him there.
Just like drag him through the dirt.
They go into this clearing, and the ship that he drove there on was the same model ship that you mentioned before, the Tantive V4. The
Fun throwback.
Yeah, which if you're a Star Wars nerd, you want to know it's a CR-90 Corvette. Made it Corellia. He's like, hey, you can use my radio here. And so Hux gets Phasma on the phone. He's like, hey, someone fucked our ship up. Can you come get us? And Phasma's like, fine. So
I guess.
Yeah. I'm polishing my armor. Knock it off.
You know how long it takes to get this shit to shine just right?
Yeah. So First Order ship comes along, lands. Phasma busts through the door and starts shooting the monsters. He's like, fuck the monsters, and shoots them all. And Hux just like turns evil, and he's like, don't kill the guy. Because we're going to test Starkiller on this planet, and I want him to be here. Now drag Kylo onto the ship. Yeah.
Fuck?
Yeah, so they grab Kylo. I can't remember if he's conscious at this point or not. And they leave. And to understand, I guess, they blow that planet up with Starkiller.
That is unbelievably fucked up.
It is. And you start thinking about Hux, and you're like, you're kind of a fuck. Like, who does that kind of thing?
The answer is someone who's abused by their father.
Exactly. So they get back to their main ship, and Hux is like, we need to figure out who sabotaged our ship. Mm-hmm. And next frame, General Hux walks up to this officer who was present when his father was verbally abusing him years before. and was like, someone sabotaged my ship.
The guy presumably was like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, he's like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. You look great. So glad you didn't die. The guy's like, I didn't sabotage your ship. And Hux is like, I know, one of your guys did. I've already killed him. But I'm here to talk to you because he was under your command and you're ultimately responsible. And like Phasma's right behind him, like looking intimidating and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't possibly pin that on me. And he was like, that was your guy. You know, you could have stopped him. And he turns to Phasma and is like, give me your gun. It's nice and big and shiny and intimidating.
Yeah.
And he just starts shooting at him. He doesn't hit him. He just like shoots at him. And he's just kind of like berating the guy. Because at this point, he's like on the ground begging for his life. Mm-hmm. And he shoots him in the shoulder. And he's like, you know what? You were a fuck to me when I was a kid. You didn't appreciate me. You thought I was weak. And maybe you were right that I wasn't like physically strong. But motherfucker, I'm patient. I'll wait forever. And what no one here knows is that one day I'm going to be the one flying the ship here. I'm going to be the one running the First Order. I'm going to be the Supreme Leader. But you're not going to be around to see that. And he shoots him.
Damn.
And that's more or less how the comic ends.
It's pretty dark.
I know it is, and I'm glad it exists because General Hux, depending on which movie you watch, like he's got some comedic relief moments. He seems to be
like when he's giving that speech when they're activating Starkiller Base and he's just chewing the fuck out of the scenery.
Which, by the way, like that was now contrast what you just mentioned to like how Last Jedi opens up. When Poe's talking to him.
Yeah.
So he's touch or go depending on like who you're, what movie you're watching. Clearly he is a scheming, murderous man. Mm-hmm. You find out
Ruthless.
Yeah, exactly. You find out when you read the Phasma novelization that he mentions this in the comic that he and Phasma orchestrate his father's death so that he could become general.
Yeah.
So he's like you don't fuck with him. So I'm kind of wondering how, like, if they kind of inject a little bit more of this nature into his character for Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, let us know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure your notification bell is rung.
Go subscribe to Star Wars Comics.
Yes, it's so much fun, and he's got so many comics up. And we're going to probably be telling a lot of their stories. This is super fun to do. So anyway, until the next time, we will see you guys later.